So gonna run over there and grab an oil change special now, and then after I have that, I'll update you guys on what's next. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys too, it's about $100 to get the oil changed at the local BMW specialist shop. If you're not into doing the work, then I suggest you just take it to them or the dealer. I think the dealer charges like $150, but I can do it for about $45 is what, $50 max. So that saves quite a bit of money on this oil change. So I actually like doing it, but the difficult part about doing this car is that it's so low to the ground. Not only do I have to have a low profile jack, I also have to drive the car up on little boards to get the car even high enough where the jack will go under it, because I do have the M Sport suspension on here. So it makes it kind of hard. So I have to go on boards first. Then if I want to, I can maybe get it on the ramps, but I'll just put it on the jack, and I'll show you guys the jack point is right like underneath the shifter here under the car. There's a little point where you put the floor jack under. So yeah, so it's not an easy oil change by any means. And really, honestly, once you have your floor jack under there, you can just get your jack stands under there, and you don't really need to drive it up on any ramps. Those jack stands will definitely save your life, so do not get under the car without jack stands ready there for some emergency support if you need it. All right, guys, we are about to pull up at Advanced Auto Parts here. If this guy in the back doesn't ram me driving aggressively. Going to get the oil change special. Looks like it's kind of crowded in here. We are at Advanced Auto Parts. I'm not gonna record in the store because, you know, it's awkward sometimes for the people that work there. All right, guys, just got out of Advanced Auto Parts. Ended up getting the Mobil 1 5W40 European formula. Like, the car knows if it's, the oil knows if the car's European or not. It's ridiculous. But I got the K&N oil filter. It was $40 for 5 quarts of oil and the oil filter. So this stuff has gone up $10 since the last time I did it. But I already have some oil at home. Don't feel bad about mixing full synthetic oil. It's no big deal. Doesn't matter. And I'll update you guys next when we get there. I think that's a 640i in front of us. All right, guys, we are done with the gym now. And I forgot I don't have an oil change collector thingy, bucket. You know, they suck anyway because they leak no matter what. But I have like a plastic tray that I put them in. But I need an oil change collection thing. So I'm gonna head to Walmart here and see if I can find one. People will go at the light, you know, they like to stop and keep you there until it turns red. And so yeah, we're gonna hit Walmart up right now and see what they have. All right, we're out here at Walmart now. Looks like we got a 16 quart container here for 12 bucks, not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that now. I think that works perfect. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we got a good special video for you guys because my last video about the Honda Civic oil change did very well. I think it has around 25 to 30,000 views right now. So I thought we would take some time to check out how to change your oil in this 335i. And now this is an N55 and this is an E93. Pretty much N54 will be the same procedure. And so we need to talk a little bit about what tools you're going to need to do this oil change. And let's start from here and work our way over that way. So first thing you're going to need is a funnel, unless you're going to just try to pour it without a funnel. Next, you need the oil filter housing cover wrench. And this is one that I ordered off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Now remember, BMW is smart. They don't have an oil filter that screws off from the bottom and covers you with oil. They have a cartridge-based oil filter right here on the top. It's right underneath this guy right here. I'll show you later. So this is the wrench, the socket that gets the top of the oil filter housing off easily without you having to use vice grips and ruining your nice oil filter housing. Here we have a oil drain pan, I guess you would call it, that I just got from Walmart. It was $11 and it says it holds 16 quarts. So The engine in the N55 holds 6.9 quarts of oil. Remember that when you're going to shop for oil. We also have our ratchet here, and it is just a standard ratchet. Now the drain plug is 17 millimeter. We got a breaker bar here just in case we need that. We have some towels. Always have some disposable towels and always have some regular towels. And then the last thing is your supplies. Here are the rest of your supplies. Here we have 5 gallons of Mobil 1 synthetic, and we have a K&N oil filter. Now this was all purchased with the oil change special at Advanced Auto Parts. So 5 gallons of oil and the filter was $40. Now I already have 2 more gallons to make up the 7 gallons. You're going to need 7 gallons of oil to change the oil in this N55. This is an E93, E92, E90 are the same car. This is just a convertible. So here's everything you need once again. You need a funnel, oil filter housing, cover, wrench, which is right here. These are available on Amazon. You need some regular towels. You need a K&N or other oil filter. You need oil, 6.9 quarts of oil. Oil drain bin. Ratchet or wrench, 17 millimeter socket here. A breaker bar maybe, if you can't get it off. Shop towels. And a couple of more things, which I'm going to show you next. So there's a couple of other things you're going to need for this oil change, and since my 335i is so low, I have the M Sport suspension. I need a low profile jack, and I need 2x4s. I cannot get this jack underneath the car here without first driving up on some boards. The car is way too low. You might find that the same on your car, or you might have a little bit higher suspension, but you're going to need at least a jack or ramps, and this car will not drive up on ramps, it's way too low. You're going to need jack stands, 2 jack stands, and maybe some wood to drive your car up on the ramps, because if you're like me, you've suffered from having a low car forever and it just does not want to drive up on the ramps. So we drive up on the wood first, which I'll show you here shortly. Then we jack the car up with the jack, and then we put the car on jack stands and let it down, pull the jack out so we can actually get under there.
Let's talk about everything you're going to need to change the oil in your E90 BMW. You're going to first need an oil filter. BMW uses a cartridge type oil filter. You're going to need an oil filter cap removal tool to take the cap off the oil filter housing. You're going to need a 17 millimeter socket and ratchet, or a 17 millimeter wrench, and possibly a breaker bar. You're going to need an oil drain pan to catch the oil. You're going to need 6.9 quarts of synthetic oil. You might need some shop towels. You're going to need jack stands, probably a low profile floor jack because the cars are so low to the ground, and maybe some old wood to drive the car on to get the floor jack under the car.
Alright guys, we do have the car up on some, not up on, but we're about to drive the car up onto some wood here. Just be aware this wood has a tendency to slip. Make sure there's no nails in it, because I almost drove onto a nail one time. And we are ready. Mr. Beach just came in the garage. Let's go ahead and drive up. If we can, if it doesn't slip. Alright guys, that didn't work at all. It just pushed the actual carpet here, so I'm going to try some different pieces of wood here. So these guys work pretty good, these flat pieces. I'm going to go ahead and put them on top of that, right there. Oops. if they don't slip. This is why changing the oil in this car sucks. Big time. Let's try to get that up on those too. Alright, I think we're on there. I believe we got that. We did. Okay, cool. Now we must have enough room now. Let's make sure you're still in the frame. You are. Now there's a jack point in the center. It's kind of hard to see. But it's right in the middle. There's a hole. There's literally a hole where your jack fits. You can see it. If you look under the car, there's a recessed area where your jack is. You know you got it wrong if you get the plastic part and the wrong off. Yep. So there's a plastic cover underneath here. Your jack fits right in the hole. And I'll show you guys once we get under the car. Car is coming up. Now it's so low that I like to have some room to work. And we got to get the jack stands under it. Yep, we're on the right mounting point. This is a Pittsburgh. Even the lowest profile jack I could find at Harbor Freight does not go low enough to get under this car without driving it up on the lid. Now we take our jack stands. Got our jack stands here. Raise them up. There's some jack points over here. Now here's the other issue. Now your wood is probably in the way of your... okay, it's right here. There's a jack point on the side of the car, which I'll show you guys too. Go ahead and go up a little bit more. So I can get all the way under there. Alright, so there's a kind of a rubber plastic jack point on the side of each side of the car that you want to be under. But don't put your wood too long on there because you won't be able to get your jack stand there. This side just a little bit. Needs like one more bump of the jack. Alright. That's perfect. Got the jack stands under there. Now the jack can't stay under the car because I don't have room to work. If it is, I'm going to go ahead and lower the car on the jack stands very slowly. So you just... Now, I would like to have this stay underneath the car. If I can work under there, I'll do that. If I can't, I will pull the jack out. Alright guys, I did jack up the jack about one press to get the stress off of the, not completely off of the jack stands, but to get some weight on the jack. So I can show you guys this. So there's the jack mounting point. It's very clearly a circle there. And then right there, that is where you open to change the oil to get to the drain plug. So obviously the jack is in the way here. We might still be able to put the drain on top of this jack, but we are going to need a screwdriver to get that out, and I forgot to mention that in the tools. This, you just put a screwdriver in the middle. It looks like it's kind of stripped out on mine, but yeah, let me grab a screwdriver flathead. Alright guys, I managed to get some light under here and got the flathead. So you just, wow, this thing's super stripped out. Yeah, this guy is stripped. So So my little cover stripped out. You're supposed to just be able to put that there, and it is not gonna happen. So I gotta turn it by hand or with a wrench. Let me see. Okay, almost. All right, I'm gonna do this with 2 hands. All right, guys, you can see here the little flap just comes down, and there is the oil change. Let me get the light on this thing so you guys can see it. All right, guys, there is the 17mm bolt. So I'm gonna get out and get the tools I need. That's very hot still. The jack is right in the way, so I hope I can get the oil change tray like right here to catch the oil. I usually take the jack out, but I'm kind of nervous about doing that. I don't trust the jack stands 100%, but there is what we need to take out. I do have a 17mm deep well socket and a ratchet for this, so I'm gonna go grab it. All right, guys, here is the oil pan drain thingy, catch, whatever you want to call it, and I was hoping there wasn't a big hole there. There's not. This will catch your oil drain plug when you put it in. So what we will do is slide that dude over like this from this side. Get that under there where we can get to it. And then let's also put some towels under there in case we try to make a mess. Get our shop towels out. Have those ready on standby. We got our shop towels here. We got some regular crappy rags for this. We'll throw those under here on this side. And if we need the breaker bar, which probably that might be a good idea just to use that instead of the 17mm socket, then let's just take the breaker bar under there. Probably make my life easier. Got the breaker bar, 17. Let's get under there and do some work. All right, guys. I don't know how that shot's gonna look. It's kind of propped up somewhere because I can't get the tripod under. But I got my breaker bar, and this little trap door comes out completely, as you can see here. I don't have my oil drain pan in here yet because I'm not quite ready for that because the oil is so hot. Yeah, this barely fits in here with a deep well. You almost need a regular one, which I don't have one. Can you believe it? I don't have a 17mm regular. Okay, that came off real easy. We're good. We'll use the okay, yeah, we're really good. I'm gonna let that cool off for a little bit before we actually start draining the oil, and then I will update you guys once the engine has cooled down quite a bit, and we will go from there. But this is ready to go underneath here. So I've got the fan blowing on the engine, cooling it off so it's not so dang hot when I get under there. But I forgot to tell you guys, in preparation for draining, always take off the oil cap because it lets the oil flow more freely. So just take off the cap, remove it there, and it'll allow the engine to breathe when you pull off that oil drain plug. So I'm gonna let this cool down for about 30 minutes before I start. All right, guys, while the engine is cooling down, let's take a look at what's in the oil filter box here. There should be a few things in here, more than one thing, probably 3 things. All right, so we got our, remember the BMW is a cartridge, not a oil filter. So there's the cartridge. Now here's important couple things. Inside this bag here, we have a new O-ring for the oil filter housing top, We have a new crush washer for the oil drain plug. Do not forget that. And then we have a new O-ring here for the cap on the oil filter housing top. So the easiest way to remove those, I believe I have a tool for this. Let's see. I do. So this is a nice tool for removing O-rings. So I'll be using that on the top. So we have all this laid out here. Have your rags ready to go. And we can go ahead actually now and take off the oil filter housing cap. All right guys, so we got our ratchet here. We got our oil filter housing removal tool, cap removal tool, or whatever you want to call it. Just goes on like that, like a standard ratchet to a socket. Of course, our fan is right in the way. Let me get that moved and then we'll go ahead and take that cap off. All right guys, here is the N55. And this is the oil filter housing right there. Very prone to leakage. If you haven't replaced your gasket in there, it's going to eventually fail. So put our cap there in reverse. It is going to be tight. There's an O-ring seal in there. Go ahead and take that off. You better make sure you have all your supplies though before you start draining oil and taking this off. It's still pretty tight. It's going to be tight until you get it like almost off all the way. Now we're going to stop right there. It is loose. Now we are going to need some plastic bags to put the old oil filter in, so I'm going to grab that now. I am ready to extract this oil filter. So I've got the paper towels on standby. Now notice it tries to come out with it. It's very hot, by the way, so this is going to be hard to get out of there, but the cap wants to come off with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Set that over there inside the plastic bag so we don't make a mess, and I'm going to separate those with 2 hands. Guys, here's the old oil filter. There is the oil filter housing. Some oil got in there. I'm going to make sure I clean this off completely. Here is the oil filter housing cap. Notice the O-ring right there, that gets replaced. And that O-ring right there gets replaced. That's why we have the O-ring removal tool. So I got some paper towels here. The next thing I am going to do is completely get all the oil out of this old, the old oil out of the oil filter housing. So I use paper towels for that. I just soak it up in the paper towels. This gets rid of all the old nasty oil. Soak it up in the towels, and if you have gloves, put some rubber gloves on. I have some over there, I just haven't put any on yet. Go straight to your bags over here. I'm going to do that now. I'll show you guys when it's all done. I got most of the oil out of the oil filter housing, all in this bag. Now we need to take the new O-rings and get them onto the oil filter housing cap. But first, I'm going to go over here, get some of my nice gloves over here, my vinyl gloves, which I love using so I don't get my hands completely dirty. So let's bring this cap over to the workbench. And we can clear off our ratchet. We don't need this anymore until we tighten it up. And I'm going to put some gloves on and I'll be back with you. Alright guys, we got our oil filter housing cap off right here. Now, this is where I told you guys that the O-ring removal tool would be handy, and it is. So we're going to take this O-ring off here. And look at me not having garbage next to me to actually throw it in. Not prepared. Here is our garbage. Got that one off. Now this one's a little bit more tricky. Sorry about the clutter here. We got extension cord running. This guy, just pull underneath there. And when you have this tool, it makes your life so much easier. Now get your paper towels ready. I'm a stickler about getting all the old oil off, which even though this oil is only about 1.5 months old, that's fine. I still don't want any old oil residue. Go ahead and clean out the inside of that cap right there and the outside of the cap. Get that all nice and clean. Just stuff that paper towel in there and give it a good, never gonna get it all out, but you'll get most of it out. All right, so now we are ready for our new stuff. So here is the package of new stuff. We're done with our O-ring tool. Let's open that up. Now don't forget, we haven't drained the oil yet, so we gotta save this crush washer for that part. But we do have our new O-rings. Now here's an important part of this. With your new O-rings, open your new bottle of oil, but turn it upside down first after you take the foil cap off. So I took the foil cap off, I flip this upside down, I take the cap off again. Now I have a nice cap full of oil here. I take that and I lubricate these O-rings, just like that. Now this top O-ring goes right, well, let's do the bottom one first, that's probably easier. Obviously they go back right where the old ones were. So you just like stretch them out over, and sometimes they can be a bit of a pain, but stretch them out over the cap. It falls right into the groove there. Take some oil from your cap, make sure that's nice and lubricated. That's what assures a good seal. Take your new one for the tip, get that over there, make sure it's nice and lubricated, and that is it for the oil filter cap. Take your oil filter, put some oil on the top and the bottom, push that over your cap, and this thing is ready to be back installed, guys. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to talk about is what you need to do before you put this oil filter back in. So once the oil is completely drained, completely out of the car, which is still very hot, so I'm waiting for this car to cool down, we're going to want to fill this up with oil before we put the oil filter back in. So we will fill it up to, you know, the middle of the threads there. We don't want to do that yet though, because we're just filling it on top of old oil that will get drained out. So we're waiting for the car to cool down. Once the car cools down, we will go ahead and do the next step. All right guys, so the car has been cooling off for a while. We're gonna go ahead and try to get this oil out. So let's see if we can make a total mess. I've got some towels. And we're gonna have to move the light somewhere else. Oh, it's already dripping. Okay. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have loosened it that much, huh? Already drippage. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this towel down just in case. It's a good idea to put extra towels down in case you make a total mess like I'm about to do. Oops. Oh, here comes Mr. Banks. All right, so yeah, that's gonna work okay, I think. It wants to kind of slide off though. Let's see what works best here. So I'm trying to get this thing up, and I actually need gloves too, so I'll be back. I'm gonna get some gloves on and get this thing going. All right, Mr. Banks insists on being part of this, so he is here. So we're gonna put something down here to raise this bottom up a little bit, and it didn't do much. But I've got the oil drain tray here. I got my gloves on. This is gonna make a mess for sure. Probably be hot too. But I hope that we get. Hope it doesn't go crazy out of the thing. Okay guys, we got the old drain plug right here. We're gonna take off that crush washer. try to take off the crush washer with one hand. Oh, there's two on there. I'm gonna take that off now. There was actually two crush washers on there. There's a new crush washer. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the car, and then I'm going to tighten it hand tight, and then about a quarter of a turn with the ratchet. We have a helper now. I know. He's so excited to do this. All right, so for our next step, guys, we got all the oil drained out of the car. We are going to take our new oil here, and we are going to make a mess, probably, but we're going to pour some. Yep, we made a mess in the filter housing there. We spilled a little bit. Let's get that cleaned up. That's the first step, and then I'll get back to you. Today seems to be all about messes, but we are ready to put the oil filter cap back on. We got our O-rings. We got our tool here to put that in. So we're just gonna throw that right in there and go ahead and screw that guy on. So I'm gonna hand tighten it, and then I'm gonna go about a quarter turn after I can't tighten it anymore with my hand. Still going by hand. Okay, that's tight. That's enough right there, just a quarter turn, if you can even do that. I couldn't even get a quarter turn after my hand tightened it. So that is all for that step, and we'll be back with adding oil. All right, so the next step is adding oil. So that shouldn't be too difficult unless you only have one hand, which that is what I have. Hey, dude. I know. I don't know why cats are so dominant in our videos, but hey, so we need to put 6.9 quarts. So this is 5 here. This is going to be a mess if I try to do this with one hand, so I'm gonna do this and get back to you guys. All right, so we got approximately 6.9 quarts in there, and put the oil cap back on. Don't forget that, because I have forgotten it sometime. We are gonna get in the car and start it now. And if you hear any weird sounds, don't be alarmed. There might be some few seconds before oil pressure starts. So what we're going to do now is just let it run for a second, make sure there's no leaks. I don't see any obvious leaks down there. Everything looks good up here. Let's go ahead and shut it off and get the car off of the jacks. All right, we're going to drop the jack stands if we can. Okay, we can't, so we got to raise the jack a little bit. Go ahead and close the hood for now. All right, so now we should be able to drop the jack stands. Nope, still can't. All right, let's raise it a little bit more. All right, that should be plenty. Got the jack stands, got all the stuff out of the way. Make sure there's nothing under there that can get drug. There's not. Get this jack stand out. All right, so we're gonna let this back down onto the wood now. Very slowly. So we can get our jack out of there. Screwdriver out of the way. I need 2 hands for this. Don't see any problems right now. Oil temperature's cold, so we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up. All right, guys. So the last step is to check your oil, but I have a different cluster than you, most likely. So I'm gonna push in the stick on this aftermarket cluster, find the maintenance, hit that. Go to oil level, and you notice that our oil level is good. So we have completely done the E90 oil change N55. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later. Hey, what's up everybody? Brad from Supercar Street Racing checking in with you on Wednesday. Just got a couple of texts and some emails saying that my new car is going to be here on Saturday. So my car is being picked up from Chesapeake, Virginia, and apparently it's going to get here on Saturday. So it's costing about $500 to ship. I think that's worth it to not put miles on the car. I wouldn't say the car has low miles, but the build has low miles. Not going to give you guys any more clues, so So to reiterate, the dealership sent me a text about 30 minutes ago. Just wanted to make sure that I was available on Saturday. The car is going to get picked up tomorrow from Chesapeake, Virginia, and we'll be here on Saturday. I'm going to keep you guys posted. Super stoked for some projects coming up. A lot of good racing for sure. You guys know that we're going to do some racing, right? If the car's fast. We still haven't figured out what it is, so it may just be a Toyota Corolla. You never know. Might be a Smart. I have had one of those too. Stay tuned, guys. I'm going to update you guys with a video when this vehicle comes off the truck on Saturday. We're going to have a whole big thing. We might do a live stream at that time. Later, Gator. What's up everybody? It's Saturday morning. Alright, so on my last video I did pick up my SL65 again out in Virginia. Drove it back yesterday. I took a one-way rental car out to Virginia yesterday, picked up the vehicle and drove it back to Florida. So here is the car sitting there desperately needing brakes, wheels, and an audio system upgrade. So today we're going to take a look at the audio system upgrade. And I've got all my tools laid out here on the bench, things I may need. One or two things I'm really worried about is running the GPS antenna, running the microphone, and also a constant 12-volt power source. I have no clue where I'm going to get that. I'm hoping I can take the factory radio off and just use my voltage tester and find constant 12 volts on the back of the radio, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So I may have to get the fuse box. I'm not sure. Radio is right here. It's my Joying Android head unit. Got all the accessories here. I've got the Scosche dash install kit. I've got the antenna adapter. I've got the Mercedes Most fiber optic adapter. The Mercedes system is fiber optic from the head unit to the amplifier. You can either replace the amplifier with an aftermarket amp, which I'm going to do later, or this system plugs into the fiber optics right there. Right there. And the other end has RCA cables, and you connect this to yellow to constant battery power. That's my one problem here that I'm worried about, is finding constant 12 volt on the car. So I don't know if it's behind the radio. The cigarette lighter is accessory power on, which that was another thing I was worried about finding, but apparently I can get it there because I tested that yesterday. So I will update you as I start taking off the dash panels. The first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself some of these dash kit tools. These are essential for not breaking the clips. See how they have claws on the end? You're going to need these for anything you do here in the any vehicle for doing audio work. So in the SL series car, that's pretty much all the cars. The procedure is going to be the same thing. First, you want to put the seats all the way back and all the way down. So as far back and as down as they will go. It'll make it easier to get the side panels off. I thought I had the seat as far back as it would go, but apparently it will go back further. No, it won't. Okay. And it's down all the way. Okay. So once the seats are back and down, you want to open these cup holders up and take off the front covers. Those are the covers right there. So I couldn't figure out how to get those off. I just pulled hard enough and finally they did come off. Then push the cup holders back in. Next step coming now. Next, take your plastic tool, pop it in there and pull these side panels off. This is why you need this. You don't want to mark up your $200,000 interior. Pop both sides of these off. So while you're doing this, some things to remember. Have a good place to lay out your car factory pieces so you don't mess them up. These are very, very expensive pieces. If you break these little trim pieces, you don't want to know what it's going to cost you to buy replacement ones. If you like paying the Mercedes tax though, be my guest. So online it says that you're going to need a T25. I was missing mine, so I used the next smallest. But if you look under here, there's 3 screws supposedly, but they're not these big ones, but right next to them. I already took this one out. There's one in the center right there, and there's supposed to be a third one, but some idiot didn't put mine back, I think, right there. So you want to take those screws out. It might be helpful if you have a small screwdriver like that. I love those things. And I happened to have some Torx bits in my toolbox, which I was surprised. Lift up your center console. Take your, do not try to use anything but the real plastic dash removal kits. Pop that up there. It should pop right out. Okay, so also turn your key on, put your stick all the way to the back. Pry this up. It'll pull off easier if you pull towards you like this. So get it all the way out just like that. Now you should be able to pull up on your center console and turn it like this. There's enough wire for you to turn it, and then once that's done, you can move on to the next step. Take the 2 Torx screws out of the side of the cup holder and slide it out. Do not do what I do and let one of the screws fall in there. Now I've got to find it. I wish I would have got this on video. I was having a tough time trying to figure out how to get this command unit out. The best way I can tell you is online it says that there's 2 tabs to push down on the plastic at the bottom. I just pulled up kind of hard at an angle and pulled, and it popped right out. Then you want to disconnect the wiring in the back here. There's going to be a fiber cable and then a I'll show you when I can get back there. So if you're like me and you're expecting a wiring bundle back there, you are going to be disappointed. The only thing connecting to that radio is that harness with fiber optic and a few little pins. Now, I don't understand how this is going to connect to my adapter, so I have to figure that out right now. Okay, so I just figured out that there's a little retaining clip on the side of the back. You pull it, it's like on the very edge of the connector. You pull it, and while you pull it, you can pull this most connector right out. And then this box, this most box came with this little adapter. I'm not sure what that is yet. We're about to try to figure it out. But here's the most box. So you got that. Let's see if I can get some light in here. You've got this. So if this will not connect directly in there. So they gave you this little adapter. I'm going to show you that in a moment when I get it on. So the adapter goes in, and then the fiber optic cable goes right into it. Now the challenge is finding a 12 volt constant on power source. I'm going to start probing this, whatever the hell this thing is, and I'm sure there's no power in here. Who knows? We're about to find out. So you always want to have a good voltmeter available, and what you want to do on your voltmeter, of course we're working with 12 volts DC, so you want to find a DC setting on it, and then you can check for hot or accessory power. I'll show you once I've got everything set up, and we will put this on the pins in there. Okay, so I found my switched power source. On the cigarette lighter, brown is ground, green is switched on. But now I don't know where to find constant power on. I have to deal with that right now. Okay, I don't know if I'm just really lucky or an idiot, but red yellow here on the back of the radio apparently has 12 volt power. So I'm going to use that for my constant. So I am not going to be soldering today. I am going to be using these connectors that I got off of Wish. These tap connectors. You should be able to just clamp over an existing wire, and then you can put another wire into that. I'll show you that in a minute. So the way these work is you slide the existing wire through the side of this connector right here on this side, and then you put the new wire into the other hole, then you push down on this clamp, and that is like a tap. That's how you get your existing working without cutting the wire. So I have the battery always on source crimped to a wire. I have accessory and illumination crimped to a different one, and now I'm going to do ground. So I've got the tap adapter on the wire already on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and attach the wiring harness now. Okay, I just tested all my wires. Everything seems to be working properly. Now the big surprise here is that I thought on the back of the radio there was an antenna adapter. And guess what? There is no antenna adapter. I don't listen to the radio, so screw it. So I turned the key on and the radio did power on. Everything appears to be working. Now I have to plug in the most adapter and see if that actually works. So this is awesome. I got my dash complete. I got the, So this is awesome. I got everything installed, and of course, one channel of this converter box does not work. I've double checked 100 times. Only the left side is working. So this is great. I have to reassemble my dash, wait for another one of these to come in, unassemble my dash again, and then figure out what to do. Amazing. So I couldn't for the life of me get any of the stupid tabs in here to attach. So I saw these screw holes on the sides, and I'm like, Then I remembered I have this handy geek flexible drill bit, which is amazing. I didn't think I would ever use this, but dude, it's so good for getting inside here and bending. That was awesome. Now I gotta try to adjust the side tabs so that the radio fits in properly. See ya. The home button is doing ridiculous things. You press it once, it goes to every single audio source. It will not go home. It goes to then the storage, then the radio, then home. Alright, this is the fast way you do the corn. You take it out of the microwave like this, and then you cut the end off like this. And then you just squeeze it right out of the corn. You squeeze the corn out. That's hot. Guys, I might have figured this out, and I think we're going to be able to install this now. It was a process, but I am about to try it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to show you how to install Kodi on a show device. That's right. You didn't think it was possible. You thought you were locked down, but guess what? If you got one of these, you can put it on there. Back in front of the Show 15 now, where we're going to show you guys how to install Kodi on this device. So the first thing you have to do this is a Show 15. I'm not going to say the name because it will wake up. Once you have the Show 15, you will get a prompt that asks you if you'd like to upgrade your experience to the Fire TV experience. You go ahead and upgrade this device to the Fire TV experience, where you will come back and you will see this little dot right here. See that? Right there. Once you have that, then you're well on your way to getting Kodi. So guys, what is Kodi? So Kodi is a multimedia app that has been around for a really, really long time, and it used to be called XBMC for Xbox Media Center. They did change the name. Now, what is important about this Kodi app is that people write add-ons for it, and you can actually download add-ons to watch certain things. I won't tell you what, because obviously we're not going to be breaking the law here, but a good app like this might assist you in watching certain things. It has all kinds of apps. You can also actually just play multimedia from a server. You can install apps directly onto Kodi, like YouTube, if you would like, but the important thing is you can install these add-ons. These are video add-ons, and to do that, you have to find the repository and install them from the repository, which I will show you here momentarily, but this is Kodi. All right, let's quickly go over what you have to do to install Kodi on your Echo Show 15. First, you go into the Fire TV. You go ahead and go to Find, and you search for the Developer menu. Developer Tools menu there. Here it is. Go ahead and open that. It pops up this little window. You can just hit the back button on your remote or either on the display remote. You're going to have Totalist installed as well. So go ahead and do that, and you're going to have File Explorer installed as well. When you press on them, you should be able to install them. Now let's go get Kodi TV. So we can hit back button here or back on the remote. So we will need the downloader for that. So back to the home screen. Go to Find. Try that again. Find, search for downloader. There it is there. Go ahead and install downloader. Once it's installed, open it up. Now it's telling you that there's limited functionality for touch. So now, once you have downloader installed, you browse to either this full link or you go to Kodi.tv. And remember, this is limited touch. So if we just go to Kodi.tv, if you don't want to type in that whole link, you're going to have to get the 32-bit version. Go to the little menu here. Go to download. Go to Android, the little Android robot. Get the 32-bit version. The 64-bit version will not work. It will go ahead and download. Once it's done, it's going to attempt to install, which is going to fail. This doesn't work because when you hit settings, it's just going to disappear. So just click done on downloader.
or actually you have to use your remote. Again, the touch doesn't work on a lot of things. Click the home button here or on the screen to get back to your Fire TV mode. Go into your apps, find your developer tools menu, open that. Just hit the back button to get out of that. Now on File Explorer, you have to use your remote. Again, see how it says limited touch? You're going to want to go to your downloader folder where you downloaded that Kodi. Select the one you just downloaded. I have a couple in here. So just select it with the middle button or on the screen. Click cut. Hit the back button either here or on the screen remote. Go to download and paste it. Once that's pasted, go back again, go into Toutless, right there, Toutless or whatever it's called. Open that, find your download folder, find the app you just copied. It's one, these are old, I've done it a couple of times now, but open up the Kodi app. It will then say continue, and it will install, and it will finish. And then once it's done, you will see that if you go to the home screen now, and you go to all your apps, you have this wonderful Kodi. There is proof that Kodi works on the Show 15. And then now we will show you how to put a good app like the Crew into this. Okay, now that we have this installed, you're going to want to put something in it. So to do that, you need to get a add-on. So if you go to Settings, File Manager, Add Source, Browse, click enter a name for this, call it Crew. And then click none where it says path. Okay, so here is the path, https://team-crew.github.io. Click OK. Click OK. Click back. I'm just going to use the remote because it's easier. Go to add-ons. The touch works. Install from zip file. Yes. You'll have to enable unknown sources. When it gives you the warning, you can enable unknown sources. Come back here, click on the Crew. There's the repository. It is installing now. There we go, add-on installed. Now install from repository. Click the Crew repo. Click video add-ons. Click the Crew, install, and then OK. It is installing now. Shouldn't take too long. It's at 7%. At 20. We'll be back. Oh, it's already at 7. I was gonna pause it, but it's almost done, and now it is installed. Let's hit the back button on the remote here. And go back to the home. Now we have the Crew. And you can proceed to enjoy your favorite things on your Echo Show 15. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if this was helpful, and we will see you next time. Hey, and welcome back to Supercar Street Racing. I'm so excited to have you guys back today in our brand new 4K production studio. Today, we're going to take a whole tour of this beautiful brand new facility and tell you what this is going to mean for the channel, because this was built specifically to enhance your experience with Supercar Street Racing. And you can see behind me here this beautiful editing rig set up and ready to go. So let's take a look at the Supercar Street Racing 4K
production studio. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Supercar Street Racing here. You got Brad, and today is the day to give the formal studio tour. The studio is 98% done. I just have a couple of lighting things to do. So we are going to start here on the outside. So this is a lean-to building, and yes, the fence is crooked, not the building. The building is straight 100%. The fence goes on an angle, so there is a narrowing path right here. But starting on the outside here, we have the LG super quiet dual inverter air conditioner system, and that is the same unit that I have in my bedroom. It is a 10,000 BTU unit that runs on 110 volt AC, and you can see here I did frame around it and cut into the wall to mount the AC, then sealed up everything really nice around the air conditioner. The wiring inside, I will show you when we get inside. It is hidden completely, and that is how the studio is cooled. And in the wintertime, we will just have a small space heater. Now you can also see here on the outside, we have LED lighting installed all the way around the perimeter. It puts a nice downlight onto the studio. And I also did get gutters installed to move the water away from the door and away from the studio, as we had an issue where the concrete was not poured correctly and the water was running towards, so that will fix that. The door eventually will be replaced with a real door. Right now it's just a shed door, does not close very well, so that will be done in the future. And that is a look at the outside of this nice 150 something or 160 something square foot studio. And now we move into the interior. Guys, welcome back to Supercar Street Racing, and you are in the Supercar Street